morning, Graham Rawlins with another Winter Friday edition of News Geelong. Australia's carbon tax debate continues as News Geelong speaks with local Victorian State Government member for South Barwon, Andrew Katos, regarding its potential effect on the region. The federal government is under pressure to reinstate funding for the community-based Take a Break occasional childcare program beyond the end of this year. And later in the program, we'll bring you the latest news from the pulsating world of Geelong sport with the Flying Hawk Nathan Curry, while the scintillating Sophie Miller will update us with the Geelong and Surf Coast weather expected over the next 6 days. Geelong Regional Library Chair, Councillor Rod McDonald, has expressed strong concern at a Victorian State Government decision to cut funding to public libraries in the Geelong region. Meryl Friend reports.
The City of Greater Geelong and other councils have been urged not to sign a library funding agreement as the state government cut cash without warning. We were able to speak with the Geelong Library Chair, Councillor Rod McDonald.
Yeah, look, we uncovered about a week ago the fact that funding to the Geelong Regional Library Corporation is down some $70,000 on expected budget. So yeah, it's a real shock for all the councils involved.
And what does this mean for the future of the development?
Well, we've had a lot of big plans, as listeners probably have heard. We've been increasing the funding, all the member councils over the past 3 or 4 years to bring the service up, and with a $70,000 reduction, we've actually got budget set, so we'll need to now have to go back, assuming that the government don't give us the extra funds, that we'll have to go back and prune budgets.
So how's this come about?
Well, it's a bit of a mystery to us. I think around the state the same applies, and so other library corporations are in the same position. So the MAV and the Public Libraries Victoria Network are actually taking up the case with the state, and we'll be hopefully putting our case for a reinstatement of funding.
So without added funds coming to the Geelong Regional Library, what will it mean for the future development?
Well, in terms of where we are now, that we're still waiting on the federal government decision for the funding of the building, but obviously what we need to do is put top quality services, or as best we can, into the library, and unfortunately these sorts of budget cuts mean that we can't do all we plan to do.
Well, hopefully we'll hear some good news about that in the future.
Well, we'll certainly be working, Meryl, to get the extra dollars back, and let's hope we have some success there.
From the Geelong Library, Meryl Friend, News Geelong.
Thank you, Meryl. As debate continues around the proposed national carbon tax, it is claimed that most Geelong families will be no worse off. Debbie Meaney spoke with a state member for South Barwon, Andrew Katos, on the issues.
Andrew Katos spoke with me today at FAG's Mitre 10 about how Geelong is being impacted in the future with the carbon tax and Tony Abbott's visit to the area.
Well, from the state perspective, obviously there was no consultation with the state government whatsoever from the federal government, and there are costs that are being imposed on the state government that will not be compensated for. For example, between the transport system and the public hospital system, the electricity usage, it'll be almost $25 million a year extra that the Victorian government will have to pay in the carbon tax just to run our public transport system and hospitals. Now, these are basic services and no compensation from the federal government whatsoever.
And where's that going to come from?
Well, the state's going to have to find it. We certainly don't want to be in the business of cutting services, so we'll have to find that money. So it's already putting pressure on tight budgets, and it's a difficult thing to do.
And what about Geelong specifically? How's that going to impact perhaps the industry sector and the small businesses in the area?
Well, at the moment, obviously Shell's exempt at the moment, so we don't know if it's going to be down the track with petroleum, but Alcoa, Ford, etc. are having compensation for a period of time. But after that, there's no guarantee of the compensation. And the main problem is too, the small to medium enterprises will be hardest hit. Those manufacturers that employ maybe 20, 30, 40, 50 people, there's no protection for them whatsoever from the carbon tax. So if all of a sudden they feel the pinch because of the tax and start putting off workers or closing, those jobs might go offshore to China, for example. Now, if they go offshore to China, the whole point of the carbon tax is defeated, because they'll be producing exactly what we produced here and with more emissions. and yet what we've done is actually damage local employment. So that's the problem. If say, for example, Alcoa were to shut, Alcoa's been a very good corporate citizen. They've reduced their carbon emissions in the last 20 years significantly from the plant at Point Henry and obviously from their power station at Anglesey. Now, if that was to close, if that went, say, to China or South America, again, that would actually increase carbon emissions. It would send jobs offshore and increase the emissions of carbon and put local people out of work.
So, not a win-win at all?
No, I don't believe it's a win for this region at all.
In Geelong, this is Debbie Meaney for News Geelong.
Thank you, Debbie. A star of stage and screen, Jay Lagaya, was a very welcome visitor at the Geelong Hospital Children's Ward yesterday as he spread smiling joy to many of the sick children in his truly well-established character from Play School. Meryl Friend reports.
We're here at the Children's Ward at the Geelong Hospital where Jay Lagaya, star from Play School, Home and Away, Star Wars, has taken out a little bit of time to visit our children in the Children's Ward. And we're joined with Jay Lagaya, who's well known from Play School and also Star Wars, Water Rats, All Saints and Home and Away. And here you are at our Children's Ward in Geelong Hospital. How's it going today?
Oh, good. The way you read that out, it's sort of like an attention span of a 5-year-old, but I'm great. It's good to be here.
So what a diverse career you have. Is there one particular thing that puts a bigger smile on your face?
Well, no, I mean, working with children are great. I mean, if you can convince a 3-year-old, you can convince a 30-year-old. And what I love about children are if you're not on your game, they just walk on you.
But this Children's Ward, I suppose it's lovely to see a little bit of sunshine in some of these Children's Day.
Well, it is about respite. As a father of 8 children myself, I've spent many hours in many different hospitals for various reasons, and it's about sort of bringing a respite to parents, even if it is for 2 bars of a song. I'm on tour at the moment with my children's show, but always trying to make sure that we take time out just to visit the local hospital, say hello to the little ones, and say hello to their parents as well.
All right, now I believe the Blu-ray's coming out for Star Wars. That's another area you're going to get into as well.
Well, mine is really crazy in that when we go to do signings after the show, I have my Larry the Lawnmower, I have my Play School for the kids, these cards. Then I have Home and Away for the mothers, I have Star Wars cards for the fathers. After a while, you're there for like 3 or 4 hours longer than the actual show itself. But yeah, look, I'm very lucky. I'm an endangered species. I'm an actor that's working. I go back to Summer Bay next week and become a pretend minister. So, but for the moment, it's great to be able to walk around and be a minstrel.
Well, the children of Geelong are very grateful, I'm sure. Enjoy your time here.
I will indeed. May the force be with you.
From the Children's Ward at the Geelong Hospital, Meryl Friend, News Geelong.
Thank you, Meryl, and may the force also be with you, Jay. This is Friday edition of News Geelong as we go to a break and return with more news after this.